Alright lads, so there is a lot of chatter online going on about the actual release date for Lostbelt 6 because there are pretty much two release dates that we are thinking that Lostbelt 6 is going to drop on. There is the 5th, and then there's going to be the 11th slash the 12th, kind of depending on your daily reset, but that Monday basically. And the reason we have two of these is that the 11th and 12th seems to align with the JP release of things, almost to kind of like a scary level of detail that they seem like they're going to release on the exact same day just 2 years later. But this is throwing a wrench in everything. This has got everybody kind of talking about how it may be coming out a little bit earlier, in fact, a week earlier. And so we're going to talk about that in today's video. I've compiled some things for why the 11th and 12th might make sense, but again, we'll have to talk about this and why this does throw a huge wrench in things. But before we begin, if you have not already, make sure you leave a like on the video and you subscribe to the channel for that sweet daily FGO content, as your boy is going to make sure that you are always informed on what is going on both the NA and JP version of the game. Even if I go off on vacation, the grind never stops, baby. I also stream every weekday starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on my Twitch, which is linked down in the description down below. I will say that I am going to miss this Friday and the next Monday due to, visiting some family because they wanted to come visit. And I was like, you know what? I'm never going to be opposed to seeing more family. So that's always cool. So anyway, let's look at the 11th and 12th and why I do think that can make a little bit of sense. So firstly, there's the pre-release campaign, which seems to line up very closely between the JP and the NA version of the game. On JP, they got DaVinci Rider over here on the 2nd, and we've got it over here basically on the 1st, right? They're dropping at very similar times, but then about a week after these drop, you could see that from here to here, about a week after, a little over a week, Morgan drops with the first Lostbelt 6 banner, and we're kind of suspecting that that would happen over here as well, because that actually puts it directly on our data download day. Well, the night of the 11th going into Monday would be when we get our data downloads. Like, that's Monday for us. That's usually when we expect updates. So, that would seem to track a little bit if they wanted to do that. But it's very, very odd because while that does make some sense, and yeah, go ahead and like drop them at the same time if you want to be really cute about it, but then why would you get these special guests over here for this live stream over here just to say we're going to release the banner a week later? That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's not really how they do things, right? Typically, we get a live stream for a new servant when it's an actual live stream and not just kind of like the event things. Like we've kind of been getting, they seem to be splitting some of the live streams where one of them is kind of more like games and updates, and then the other one is like actual servants and actual main events that we're going to be getting. It's all the good stuff that we care about. And so this is going to be one of those good stuff that we care about, which it should, because, let's expand it. It says Lostbelt 6 Avalon Lefay pre-release special, right? This should be the good stuff, right? This should be all the goodies that we want. Why would you do this live stream? Presumably you're going to reveal Morgan, Bawabon Sith, Bargist, these characters, maybe even Pastor Ku's new animation updates will be revealed here as well. Like, you presumably are going to show off all this cool new stuff, maybe give us a little bit of a taste from the story chapter, because I believe they did that on the original live stream for the JP version. They showed us like the first couple of story scenes and bits and everything. So you're gonna do all this, you're bringing all these special guests. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to then say, but you're gonna have to wait a whole week for this one. Now, on the one hand, some people would say, well, it would still fall in line with the original release if they did that. If they did say, hey, just wait a week, and in theory, it would build a lot of hype for people. But I think because of the current summer event, that does not have a lot of people gassed up, for lack of a better term, especially if you're a newer player like me and you're having to replay it. Having to wait an additional week is going to be dreadful, right? It's going to be just very annoying to go through a whole bunch of nothing while you wait for this to release, because even the event leaving, which is another good point, is very in line with the June 5th. That is when the summer thing is going to be going away. And so it's like perfect timing, because there's not anything else to put in between the end of that event and the beginning of Lostbelt 6. We're already in the pre-release campaign. You can't announce, what, another pre-release campaign? Pre-release campaign 4 or 5, whatever we're up to at this point, because we've been getting them all year at this point. So there's not a whole lot to release. It coincides with the end of the other event, and there's nothing else to put in there, right? And again, I think it would also burn out a lot of hype for the game that's, the writing on for this event, right? For the new story chapter. And so I think this is very likely to be when Lostbelt 6 actually releases because of this live stream. I think this is our definitive date, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to push it back to the original date over here which I know some people might be like, oh, dude, that's cool. We got like, we've shaved a week down in the 2-year gap between us and JP, which I don't know if that'll last for very long because we do have a lot of dead periods. So I don't know if that's going to entirely last, and I don't really think that's the point either. I don't think Lisango wants to get the games caught up, but I think it's fine. I think they may be realizing that they're like, look, just kicking things up by a week is not going to kill our game or anything. No one's really going to care if we kick it back, a week early. So I don't know. That's my thoughts. I think this makes the most sense. I was originally on this train of being like, oh, it's going to be really cute that they release on the exact same time, but it just doesn't make any sense. There's really no reason to do it, which is also exciting for me because that potentially means that the lotto for the NA version potentially might come a week early, and I definitely like that. I would love to play me some lotto because I'm playing it on JP, and getting all those resources is very, very nice right now. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments down below, because maybe there is like something I'm missing, or maybe it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for them to like do it immediately after the 5th. Maybe I'm forgetting the original Lostbelt 6 live stream because I was there, but it was 2 years ago. And maybe I'm forgetting that they did push it back by, a week after the live stream, but I don't have any recollection of that being the case. I remember seeing the new servants being like, this Morgan chick is really cute, and then going off and summoning on that banner, right? I don't have any memories of having to just wait a whole week after they were announced. Like, I remember the game exploded and everybody really loved the new servants that we all got. So I don't know, maybe I am missing something. Maybe I'm forgetting something that Lisango does with their policy, or maybe that something weird that they do now that they've taken over, but it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. The only other thing that I had pulled up over here was this. This is a new thing that they just put out like as I'm recording this video, and it's kind of like, okay, we're getting more stuff over here. The only thing that this potentially might be weird for is that like, oh, they pushed it back to the 8th over here. Like the 8th is going to be the actual release date. And you know what? I don't know if that is what they do. I'm not going to say I'm going to eat a shoe or something, but I was thinking of some weird thing to do, but I'm not doing anything weird. But it would be very strange because what is the 8th? The 8th is, that's a Thursday. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense when they're doing it on a Thursday. So I don't know, man. It also, I think, is very good just from a, I guess, a business side of things, that you have both of your games moving into something very hype, because Ordeal Call is coming out over on JP and we're getting Lostbelt 6. So, for the whole IP for FGO, right? It's going to look very, very good that we have two insanely hyped things going at the same time in the month of June. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I just dropped my pen, ignore that one. But if there's anything you need to know more for Lostbelt 6, I think I have been very thorough in my coverage because I'm very, very excited for this. But I don't know if you're worried about the first boss for part 1 of Lostbelt 6. I could drop I could double upload on that day and just be like, okay, do my normal daily video and then also do a run of me beating that person. Because if I can beat them, then you could definitely do them. Because my box is good, but it's not, I ain't no whale, all right? Let's just say that. But with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace. Late, guys.